The world of boxing has lost a true legend. George Foreman, the powerhouse who once shook the ring with his thunderous punches and later won hearts with his inspiring comeback, has passed away at 76. His death marks the end of an era, leaving fans across the globe mourning the loss of not just a champion, but a man whose impact stretched far beyond the sport. But what happened in his final moments? What did his family and closest friends say in their last tributes to the icon? And which celebrities are coming forward to honor his legacy? Stay with me, because this is not just a story about a champion. It's about a man who transformed lives, inspired millions, and left behind a legacy that will never fade. George Foreman was more than just a boxing legend. He was a larger-than-life figure who transcended sports and became a cultural icon. From his rise as a fearsome heavyweight champion to his incredible comeback at 45, Foreman's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. But beyond the boxing ring, he was also a preacher, a businessman, and a devoted family man. His passing at the age of 76 has left a void in the hearts of millions. Fans, fellow athletes, and celebrities from around the world have come forward to pay their respects, sharing emotional tributes to honor his legacy. But as we look back on his incredible life, there are so many questions left unanswered. What were his final days like? How did his family say goodbye? And what legacy does he leave behind for future generations? In this tribute, we take a deep dive into George Foreman's final moments, the heartfelt tributes from his loved ones, and the impact he made both inside and outside the boxing ring. As George Foreman's health declined in the final weeks of his life, those closest to him began to prepare for the inevitable. The once towering, powerful figure who had dominated the boxing world with his strength and resilience was now facing a different kind of battle, one that even he could not fight his way out of. Foreman had always been known for his larger-than-life personality, his booming laughter, and his deep sense of faith. But in his last days, he became quieter, more reflective. According to close family members, he spent much of his time surrounded by his children and grandchildren, sharing stories of his past, giving life advice, and reminding them of the values that had guided him through his incredible journey. Despite his declining health, Foreman remained as strong-willed as ever. Reports suggest that he continued to pray daily, finding comfort in his unwavering faith. His family members have shared that even in his weakest moments, his spirit remained unbreakable. He reminded them that life is about more than just achievements. It's about the impact you leave behind. His final days were not filled with regret, but with gratitude. But here's where things get truly emotional. George Foreman's last words to his family carried a message that will stay with them forever. As the hours dwindled and the weight of time pressed upon the Foreman household, an air of both sorrow and reverence filled the space. Family members, close friends, and spiritual leaders gathered by George Foreman's bedside, knowing they were witnessing the final chapter of a life that had not only shaped the sport of boxing, but had also inspired millions through resilience, faith, and transformation. Though weak, Foreman still had that unmistakable presence, a presence that once dominated the ring, that once sent fear into the hearts of his opponents, but now radiated a different kind of strength, the kind that comes with acceptance, wisdom, and peace. As his family leaned in closer, he called each of his children by name, speaking to them individually and offering wisdom that would remain etched in their hearts forever. He reminded them that no amount of fame, fortune, or success could replace the importance of family and faith. He urged them to remain united, to uplift one another, and to never lose sight of what truly matters. Then, with his final breaths, he spoke words that will forever be remembered. "Don't cry for me. Celebrate. I lived, I fought, I loved, and now I rest. Keep the faith, keep going, and never, ever stop believing." The room fell into a heavy silence. His last breath came not with struggle, but with serenity. And just like that, the giant of a man, the fighter, the preacher, the businessman, the father, was gone. In the days following George Foreman's passing, the world stood still in mourning. From the streets of Houston, Texas, where he had built his life outside the ring, to boxing gyms worldwide, where young fighters trained while looking up to him as a legend, his impact was undeniable. Television networks aired marathon segments dedicated to his career. Sports analysts recounted his most memorable matches. Former opponents paid their respects, acknowledging that they had not just lost a competitor, but a brother in the sport. But what truly sent shockwaves across the world was the unprecedented tribute that took place at his memorial service. Held in a massive arena in Houston, the venue overflowed with fans, celebrities, athletes, and public figures who had come to pay their respects. Among the attendees were legendary boxers like Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, and Evander Holyfield. Hollywood stars, including Denzel Washington, spoke about how George Foreman's resilience had inspired them in their own lives. Gospel choirs led a breathtaking rendition of Going Up Yonder, one of Foreman's personal favorites. Then, a moment that no one saw coming, a pre-recorded message from Foreman himself. In a video filmed weeks before his passing, he left the world with one final message. "If you're watching this, it means I've gone home to the Lord. But don't cry for me, celebrate. I had a good life. I fought my fights. I raised my family. And I spread the message of hope. If I could leave you with just one thing, it's this. Life isn't about how many times you get knocked down. It's about getting back up. Keep fighting, keep believing, and don't forget to love one another." The arena fell silent, then erupted in a standing ovation. But the most powerful moment was yet to come. To ensure that George Foreman's legacy continues to uplift future generations, his family announced the establishment of the George Foreman Foundation for Underserved Youth. The foundation will provide scholarships, mentorship programs, and athletic training for at-risk youth, ensuring that Foreman's spirit of resilience and faith lives on. As the ceremony drew to a close, a single pair of boxing gloves, Foreman's gloves, were placed in the center of the ring. The traditional 10-count bell rang through the arena, marking the final farewell to one of boxing's greatest champions. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. Even the toughest fighters, men who had stood toe-to-toe with Foreman in the ring, wiped away tears, overcome with emotion. George Foreman was more than just a boxer. He was a fighter in every sense of the word. And in the end, he won the greatest fight of all, the fight to leave this world better than he found it. As we reflect on the incredible life of George Foreman, we want to hear from you. What was your favorite George Foreman moment? How did his story inspire you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to keep his legacy alive, share this tribute with others who admired the legendary George Foreman. Rest in peace, champ. Your fight is over, but your legacy will never die.